Today we are going to discuss some of the important questions on the lesson, the last lesson. The first question: what was Franz expected to be prepared with for school that day? Franz was expected to be prepared with a lesson on participles. His teacher, M. Hamel, had announced an oral test on participles, but Franz didn't know anything about the rules of participles. Now let us move on to the second question. What did Franz notice that was unusual about the school that day? So what did Franz find out unusual about the school on that day? Franz noticed that it was also still, calm and quiet like Sunday morning, while on other days there used to be a great hustle and bustle. The same could be heard out in the street. The opening and closing of the desks, lesson repeated in unison very loud. But on that day, the school looked so strange. Now here, what does it mean? Means that it was quiet on that day, and this is what was unusual. Otherwise, on other days, there used to be a lot of noise and confusion, but that was missing on that particular day. Let us go to the third question. What had been put up on the bulletin board? What was displayed on the bulletin board? An order from Berlin had been put up on the bulletin board. It stated that from the next day only German would be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. Fourth question. What changes did the order from Berlin cause in the school that day? The order from Berlin created an atmosphere of dismay at the school. Everything became quiet and still. Everyone was shocked and upset. The teacher, M. Hamel, was highly depressed. He had put on his finest dress, which he used to wear only on special days. Some elders of the village also came to attend the class as a mark of respect to their mother tongue and to the teacher. Question number 5. How did Franz feelings about M. Hamel and school change? M. Hamel was a very strict teacher. Franz didn't like him and always wanted to spend his time outside and bunk his class. But when he came to know that it was going to be their last lesson and French would no more be taught to them, he felt a great love for the language and the teacher. He started understanding whatever M. Hamel taught. So initially, the kind of impression the narrator had, M. Hamel, a very strict teacher, and he didn't like him. But later, when he came to know that it was going to be the last lesson, suddenly he developed love for the teacher as well as love for the language. Now let us see the long answer type questions. The people in the story suddenly realize how precious their language is to them. What shows you this? Why does this happen? People of Alsace and Lorraine were shattered and shocked to read the order that came from Berlin. As per this order, French would no more be taught in schools. Only German was to be taught. This order made them realize what they were going to miss. Their basic right to learn the mother tongue was taken away from them. This evoked patriotism and love for mother tongue in them. They were full of remorse and regretted that they had not given importance to their mother tongue earlier. As a mark of respect to their mother tongue and the French teacher Yam Hamel, the prominent people of the village came to attend the last lesson of Yam Hamel. Hauser had brought an old primer. Even the little children were shocked. Franz, who never liked to learn the language, found himself in a state of shock and suddenly started developing a liking for the language as well as for his teacher. Second question. Franz thinks, will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? What could this mean? Man has an inherent desire for power, and unfortunately, when he achieves it, he uses it wrongly. He wants absolute enslavement, and thus wants not only land but wants to master the mind and heart also. The story, which is set in the Franco-Persian War, brings the dominant nature of man. Persia had acquired the districts of Alsace and Lorraine in the war. But it was not only that they even wanted to take their language from them. They released orders not to teach French anymore and only German would be taught. Franz, who had developed a sudden love for French, was very sad and felt it was like mastering the forces of nature and enslaving them too. During his last lesson in French, when he heard pigeons on the rooftop cooing, Franz ironically says this statement, whether they will make these pigeons also sing in German. When a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. Comment on the basis of the story, the last lesson. Political enslavement is a curse for any nation as it deprives it of its identity. The natives of the country do not enjoy any kind of freedom, be it physical or mental. The ruling government or the powerful compels them to abide by the rules, justified or unjustified. At such time, it is their language, mother tongue, which keeps their identity alive. It is their language which unites them against the foreigners who have invaded their motherland. It is also the key to their prison as the mother tongue binds them together. It constantly reminds them to their enslavement and brings them together to fight for liberation of their motherland. Yam Hamel in the chapter The Last Lesson reminds his countrymen to safeguard their language after they received orders from Berlin banning the teaching of French in Alsatian school. The natives can liberate themselves only if they recognize and maintain their identity through their mother tongue.
Why aren't you in school, you little imp?
Oh, I'm too big to go to school. Besides, I don't know my lesson. Is there more bad news?
You'll find out soon enough. Now run along to school.
But Victor...
Never mind. Today you better be in school. There, you're late already. Now run. Run.
Go to your seat quickly, Francois. We were beginning without you.
What's the matter with him today?
Come in, Victor.
I thought today you wouldn't mind if I...
Others have come before you. My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin that we are no longer to be French. After today, only German is to be taught in our schools. A German master is on his way here. And when he arrives, I shall leave you. This is the last lesson in our own language. I want you all to be very attentive. The first form will begin with their letters. Ready? Aber.
Aber, over, ibi, obo, über, ama, imi, omo, uru, ada, öde, idi, odo, udu.
Excellent.
Will they make them sing in German? Even the pigeons?
Let us go to the lesson on participles and infinitives. Francois. The rule for the participle.
When the present participle follows the verb
To be.
to be. When the present participle follows the verb to be, it is like an adjective.
You'll know it. I never could learn that rule myself.
It is.
It agrees like an adjective.
It agrees like an adjective. And
You don't have to go on, Francois. And do not blame yourself. It is we, the older ones, who are really at fault. Every day we've said to ourselves, we have plenty of time. We can do it tomorrow. That was a great trouble with France. She has put off learning her lessons until tomorrow. Lessons far more important than the rule for the participle. And now it's too late. They have taken our country away from us. Madeleine, The German master will soon be here. You wouldn't want him to see you cry. We will not have our lesson in reading today, but you must go on with your reading at home after I'm gone. Because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. I shall read to you some words that were written by Victor Hugo. As long as there is a Frenchman alive, these words will live. In times like these, let us not despair. For to despair is to desert France. The friends of our oppressors tell us that liberty is dead. Why do you cling to hope, they ask. Why, indeed? Have they forgotten that we're Frenchmen? That freedom is our birthright? That life without liberty is living death? From within the deep shadows of this present, watch the French people. Their leaders have mouthed the words of surrender, which find no echo in their hearts. They are silent, but each knows what is in the other's thought. On each man engraved the names of all executioners. They live only for the day of reckoning, when truth shall return once more, and freedom renew her cry, calling the people of France to rise and sweep before them all the monuments and all the works of ancient and eternal despotism. From within the deep shadows of this present, watch the French people. Their leaders have mouthed the words of surrender, which find no echo in their hearts. They are silent, but each knows what is in the other's thoughts. They live only for the day of reckoning, when truth shall return once more, and freedom renew her cry,